Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today I am going to share with you 3 very simple yet stunning containers that we are going to put together here at the house. Now I love a good complex ornate container. I think they are gorgeous, but sometimes it's just nice to keep it simple, sweetie, right? So that is what we're going to focus on today. The first one that we're going to do are the 2 urns that we have here on the end of our seating wall on the patio. Keeping it very simple. And I am trying to, as I grow as a gardener, as I grow in design, and we're always learning, right? We're always refining what we do. So here in the backyard, I'm trying to keep more of a cohesive look, because I am all about, my tendency is to just kind of go wild, and I'm like, oh, I love this and that and that. And then sometimes at the end of the day, it doesn't really blend well together. But back here in the backyard, I'm really trying very hard to keep that beautiful cohesive look, because of course, we've got the signature experience coming up at the end of June. Our folks are going to be like right here up close and personal on all of these plants and the gardens as a whole. So what we're going to do to keep that beautiful cohesive look and to keep it very simple, we are going to plant 2 in each container, the unplugged So Blue salvia. So the unplugged So Blue is going to be a more petite salvia. It looks very much like Rockin' Playin' the Blues, but it's about half the size, which I love. Perfect for these containers, because these containers are not super deep. They're probably, I don't know, maybe 10 inches deep, but they are nice and wide. But the amount of soil that I can have in here is kind of limited, especially for my long growing season. So the unplugged So Blue is going to be perfect. It is anywhere from 14 to 24 inches, probably in the container. It's going to be a little bit on the shorter side. Of course, these are going to be full sun. We are blessed with some cloud cover today, so I'm very excited about that. But these beautiful, just whether you want to call them blue or you want to call them purple flowers, and it will just branch out and give me lots of nice kind of silvery blue foliage on it. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put 2 in those, 2 in each container, kind of plant them as one. And then we're going to surround it with the, love these plants, Jenny loves diamonds. This is Diamond Snow. And so Diamond Snow is a nice, tight, compact, white euphorbia that will give me nice mounded white flowers throughout the growing season. Again, full sun. I think we should be able to put 4 around these containers. So we're going to put the salvias dead center and then put 4 euphorbias around it, and that will tie in lovely and have this basically the blue-green foliage with those blue flowers coming out, and then a white ribbon all the way around surrounding those salvias. So the reason that I'm saying I'm tying all of this together is because over here I have the unplugged So Blue planted around the fountain in front of the David Austin roses. So they are all throughout this flower bed, and so that will tie in quite nicely. Then of course in the backyard I have the unplugged So White. I also have euphorbias throughout the garden. I do not have Diamond Snow, but I have a lot of Diamond Frost. I have Diamond Frost in the hanging baskets. Those are caladiums, Diamond Frost, and the Dichondra Silver Falls. And then of course we just planted last week, or whatever that was, Diamond Frost in the deck boxes. So that will have that nice cohesive look. And then 2, just as far as the color, you don't have to have the exact same plant to have cohesiveness, but having that nice big surrounding white on the urns matches that pure white of the Mini Vista white right here that is throughout the entire backyard garden. So what we're going to do is, I have the black gold. This is the raised bed mix. The reason that I'm going to use the raised bed mix instead of like Proven Winners is because, you know me, I always use the Proven Winners potting soil. But I'm using the raised bed mix because it retains moisture a little bit better than the Proven Winners. Yes, it is on irrigation. I've got drip irrigation in these containers. It's that little small brown tubing with the emitters every, I don't know, that's 6 to 8 inches right here. So I have that, but again, full sun area, and we are in North Carolina. I have a very long growing season, so the more moisture I can hold in my pots, the better it is for me. And so we've got that. We're going to, of course, use the biotone, and then that continuous release plant food from Proven Winners right here in these containers. And you see I have my water. You got to stay hydrated, my friends. All right, the sun's trying to crack out, and so if the sun pops up, it is going to be humid because we got rain last night. So I am going to move with purpose and get these 2 urns planted. You'll see me plant them, then I'll show you the final result here in just a minute. All right, my friends, so urn number 1 is planted. The bag of soil was nice and wet, so that was fun to lift it up, but filled it up completely, and then I did kind of that trick of planting the pots and then just slipping the plants in there. It worked out great until I realized, no, 3 looked weird, so I had to kind of move and make some room and put number 4 of the diamond snow in there. But it really does make a big difference. It makes it so much easier to do the soil, take your empty pots, put them in where you want them, backfill really tight with all the soil. Of course, the biotone's in there, the slow release is in there, and I was able to go ahead and put the drip irrigation in, and so that way you're not like trying to move the plants and worry about breaking the plants, you know, those kinds of things. So everybody is happy. And then when you pack it in and you gently pull out those pots, it leaves the perfect hole for you to drop in the other, or drop in the plants rather. So this is done. I'm already starting to have little pollinators come to the salvia, and I'm going to do the other one, and then I have made a huge mess here. Get it all cleaned up and get this watered in. Even though the soil was damp, I always go ahead and water in your containers. It is cloudy, but it is supposed to get pretty toasty today, so I want to make sure that these just transition nice and beautifully into their new home. But I love it. It's easy. It is going to be a showstopper. Like I said, I've already got pollinators coming in here on the salvia. It will not take long for these diamond snows to completely fill in. It's going to look like a pool float, like an inner tube, you know, just this mass white and these gorgeous blue salvias coming out of the top. So I'm going to get the other one done, get all my mess cleaned up, get this watered, and then we're gonna go plant a beautiful, stunning tropical hibiscus in yet another unique stone urn. All right, my friends, so we've got the 2 urns are planted, they are cleaned up, they are watered, and they are ready to start growing in their new home. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna love having these 2 urns. Keeping it simple, sweetie, does not have to be super complicated to be absolutely stunning, and they are going to do that. It will not take them long at all because as you can probably see, the blue skies have emerged and has the sun, so that makes it fun to plant right after a nice good rain and the sun comes out. But these plants are going to love it, right? Nice and watered in. They've got tons of fresh, delicious, yummy soil in there for them to get their roots growing, and they're just going to absolutely take off. So those are done, and they're going to look fabulous with the Incrediballs as they open up and come into all of their glory. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to come right down here to the backyard bed, and I have another nice large unique stone container here. And we are going to plant one of the new proven winners. This is the tropical hibiscus. This is that Hollywood hibiscus series that proven winners did this year. This is Heartthrob. Now, Heartthrob is going to be a beautiful yellow and orange bloom. So this one is opening up. So the sun came out, the blooms came out. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? This was an older one, and you can see that it's more yellow. So they're going to transition kind of from that yellow, that orange, just stunning. And you can see that they've got, they did have some good blooms on them yesterday. The rain kind of dampened them down a little bit, but we've got lots and lots of buds on them with, of course, that beautiful glossy green foliage. Just lovely. Now, the difference with the Hollywood hibiscus is that the blooms will last for 3 days instead of 1, like your traditional tropical hibiscus. These are tropical hibiscus. These are going to be annuals. They're not going to overwinter for me. If you want them to overwinter, then you would need to do something like put them in a protected area. You would have to, you know, bring them indoors if you had a greenhouse, that kind of thing. But if you leave them outside like I'm gonna do, then they're just gonna be a seasonal, annual, tropical, beautiful hibiscus. This sucker will be a 4x5, like it's going to be large. I was talking with Jerry this morning. I was like, do I even like plant any annuals underneath it? Do I do anything? And he was like, well, you could. But I've decided not to. I want to have as much soil available for this baby as possible, because I just envision it getting massive and huge and full of those beautiful colors. That orange and yellow is going to look so nice with the Mini Vista plum veined right here. And so, yes, this bed desperately needs some love. I know. We're just going to focus on the pretties right now. The pretties is that I have blueberries that are nice and blue that need to be picked. I've got my first magnolia bloom of this season. Fairy Trail Bride is looking lovely. And then my hydrangeas down there with the diamond snow down there. They look great. So I am going to need just a wee bit of help. I'm going to need an extra set of hands. I'm going to try to grab Jackson because we are going to put this on irrigation. So all the unique stone pots, if they are meant to be a container, they have a drain hole in them. So what we're going to do is I have my drip tubing like runs right underneath it, which is perfect. So what I need Jackson to do is help like tip the pot so I can connect a drip tube and run it up the pipe to this pot, and so that Heartthrob will have some good irrigation when it does not rain and when she needs it. So I'm going to go enlist him, get some help from him, and then get this planted. I'm still going to use that raised bed mix. I'm still going to use my biotone, put a little slow release in there, and then just run the drip tube around it. Very simple, right? Simple yet stunning. Tropical hibiscus, of course, do great in the heat and humidity. We may be melting, they're absolutely thriving. Okay, my friends, heartthrob has been added to the garden. She is planted, she is fertilized, she is watered. There's only one other thing I need to do to her, and I will do that here in just a little bit. I did not bring any of the mulch with me. I like when I have containers that are like this exposed. The urns up there, it's not that big a deal because the plants are covering everything. But when I have a pot that when I plant it and I have this much exposed soil, I like to take some mulch and just do a nice little layer on the top of the soil. A couple of reasons. One, it makes it look nice, but the two main reasons is that it helps retain the moisture so we don't have as much evaporation, and it helps insulate those roots, control weeds, because yes, you can get weeds in your containers because they blow with the wind. So I will take some of that Daddy Pete, the soil conditioner, those little aged pine bark fines, and give it a nice top dress and take care of it. But she is nice and watered in. I did just one simple ring all the way around it. You can see down here, we've got the drip tubing right here, the emitter, and then it's a solid line that's connected here and then runs up the pot, and then back here in the back you can see where I simply just put in a T and then ran the little small brown tubing all the way around it, just like a nice ring. So doesn't matter what goes in this pot, say next year, I will have that irrigation available and make it super simple. Gave her a nice good drink of water, tried to wash off some of the soil. Look at that bloom that's opened up. Isn't that just beautiful? Of course, your hummingbirds love it, your pollinators love it, and we, the gardeners, love it as well. So just imagine her a 4x5 shrub in this container. It is going to be spectacular. And again, the hotter and the more humid it gets, the happier she will be. Speaking of plants that love it hot and humid, caladiums. Yes, my friends, we're adding some more caladiums. We're going to move to the front porch. I'm hoping it might still be in the shade because this gardener is glistening, and so we're going to move to the front porch. I've got caladiums that we're going to add to containers by the front steps, and I'm going to show you the 2 containers that I have at my front door that have caladiums in it as well. Again, simple yet stunning. All right, my friends, so here we are at the front porch. 2 urns. Not urns, square planters, shall we say, because they literally are square. Right here at the steps to, there's Vanna, you know, she knows where the camera's going to be, and she's going to be in it right there. We have these 2 urns right here on the front. I've got the Georgia peach in there, and Georgia peach is beautiful, but she's getting a little intense hot sun, which of course I knew that was going to happen because it's so interesting. This space, our front porch, keeps in the shade, as you can see here where the sun line is. I told Jackson, he pulled up as I'm trying to beat the sun. That these get intense hot afternoon sun. This one gets the most, and you can see what's happening to it, right? So it's getting really bleached out and it's starting to burn. So that tells me, hello, red flag, wah, 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 that if this is the end of May and it's already starting to get burned, then heaven knows July and August is going to be a crispy critter. So what I'm going to do is take these out. I'm going to move them like to the chicken coop garden where they can still get their sun, but they will get a break in the afternoon. I love the Georgia peach. They are stunning. They're beautiful. Great color on them. You can see that they are flowering. Your euchras will flower with those little sweet, delicate blooms. Your pollinators, your hummingbirds love them. They just need to get moved out. So what we're going to put in is caladiums. This is the Heart to Heart Bottle Rocket. And Bottle Rocket, as you can see, she's a beauty. Man, she's got greens, she's got creams, she's got reds, she's got pinks. I mean, and as the leaves age, they'll change. So on the same plant, you just have a beautiful display of color and texture, and they will do great. They will also do great with my red door right there, right? And of course, they're going to pop out up against these nice green boxwoods. So very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to carefully remove the Georgia peaches because we're going to save them. We're just going to move them. So we're going to take them out. I will assess the soil when I get in there to see if it really has a lot of roots in there. If it's got a lot of roots and it just seems kind of yucky, then I will take that soil out, put the fresh soil in, of course, your biotone, your time release fertilizer. I've got my little furry Velcro right here. So we are just going to get these transplanted, moved around a little bit, and then I will show you those urns that we have up there. And then, of course, our hanging baskets. All right, my friends, so got the square planters planted. They are done. The only thing I have to do is water them in, but I'm gonna go ahead and water these, the hanging baskets, the urns, all at the same time once we finish the video, because I didn't want to smush down the plants with water before I showed them to you. But bottle rockets, man, they are looking fabulous. Just see how they pop out. These heart-to-hearts, I love them, y'all. They're so great because the vast majority of the heart-to-heart caladiums are going to be sun and shade tolerant. So it makes it so easy to figure out, you know, what plant to put in here. Remember, you do not have to have flowers to have lots of color and interest. The caladiums are a perfect example of that. So this one will do is sun tolerant. It will tell you on your tag. There are a few of the heart-to-hearts that are, you know, just for the shade, but I would say the vast majority of them are sun and shade. You're gonna get a little bit of a color variation if you have that same caladium, whether it's in the full shade or the full sun or somewhere in between. You're gonna get a little bit of color variation, but they can handle it. They're gonna love these containers. They are going to just fill in and be nice and mounded. I know that this boxwood's running a little close. I'm kind of keeping it trimmed a little here, but it'll be fine. They'll just fill in and get nice and thick. I'm telling you, the hotter and the more humid it is, the faster they grow, and they are just some happy, happy plants. So up here on the front porch, we have two of the Spanish urns from Unique Stone. Now, these are going to be basically complete shade because they are, of course, underneath our, we have nice deep porches. And so they are under the shade, complete shade until 5 o'clock, and then they get that intense afternoon sun. And so it's an interesting spot to be in, but I definitely plant it for the shade. But what's so fun about these plants is they will do the shade really well, but they will also do full sun. So just because this is a shade container, don't think that you couldn't do this exact same arrangement in a full sun condition. Again, your caladiums might just have a little bit of a different color on them, but it'll be just fine. So what we have in here, of course, is the Dichondra Silver Falls. Love that. Have two of these in here just planted right beside each other. Then we have Diamond Snow, nice tight pop of white in there. So this is White Star Caladium, which is a sun or shade. It is just a beautiful, nice, I wanted to go for like simple and elegant right here. Love it because it does have, you can either go with it's either pink or you can say it's red or something in between. But it'll have some different twinges, right? So you've got some that are just solid. You've got all sorts of different colors in here with this caladium. I did 3 quarts. I am going for nice and full and big because we're having this, you know, the signature experience in less than a month. And so I want these to be nice and full for that. You could easily have gotten away with, say, 1 quart, or if you did one of the 8-inch, you really can just do whatever you want to as far as like how much you want to pack it in there. These I packed in a little bit more than I traditionally do just because I needed to get them nice and big and beautiful for that signature experience that is at the end of June. But again, love that because we have it with the red door. So it just makes a nice, simple, classic statement right here on the front, and easy. I mean, like the easiest thing ever. They're not on irrigation, and I actually tried. I was going to put the Aquapot light insert with this, but when I put it in, it fit, but I didn't have a whole lot of soil on top of the Aquapot insert. So I was like, no, we're not going to do that. So because of the shape, the planter is tapered. If the insert had sat down lower and I had more soil up top, I definitely would have done the insert and it would have been a perfect application for that. But I have a hose just like literally right there on the side of the house, and it's on a nice reel, so I can easily pull it and water them in nice and well. And then with the hanging baskets here, we've got this is the new introduction for next year, for 2026. This is the Surefire Cascade Begonia, and then I have Diamond Frost in there. We do have drip on these baskets. We haven't turned it on. We need to go ahead and get those turned on, get them some nice consistent water, and they will just explode in growth. So I'm going to water those as well. Yeah, so we're going to get everybody watered. We're going to go ahead and rinse off the porch, because as any country homeowner knows, the amount of dust and pollen and dirt that gets on your porches, it is never ending. So if I can water and kind of get everything rinsed off, makes it feel clean and fresh for me. And then having these new square planters all nice and potted up with those beautiful caladiums, that bottle rocket, man, it's a good feeling. So if you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational, we would love it if you would like and subscribe to Gardening with Creekside. That way you don't miss out on those 5 videos that we do each and every week. If you are interested in attending the Creekside Signature Experience, I would encourage you to move with purpose, because we are shutting off the ticket sales. I think Emily told me June the 6th. That's 2 weeks in advance of when she says yes, June 6th. So we will close ticket sales on June the 6th. That way it gives us 2 weeks to get everybody squared away, final head count and everything. And again, I told you this a couple of videos ago, if you are like on the fence, you're coming or not, and you think, well, I'll just come next year. This is going to be the last year for a little bit. We're going to take a break because it's obviously a ton of work. And so we're going to take a couple of years off. So if you are interested in attending, we would love to have you. Em is doing a fantastic job getting it all squared away. I will link that for you, the product page that's on our website. That way you can get all the details. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you on June the 20th. And it's going to be a fun day. So anyway, y'all have an amazing day. I'm going to get all this watered, rinsed off, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.